some time to join. Thank you and welcome to the Zen of Renz. Tonight we're going to talk about how to overcome psychological ED. Now, I want you guys, we're going to give some people some time to join in, and then we are going to get started. We're going to share this podcast all around. Got some places, they got to do some upkeep here real quick, and then we're going to get started. So I'm looking for people, seeing when they sign in. Looking for the sign-ins here. You know, when you come on, just say hello, how you doing? I'm doing some sharing right now. If you'd like to share it yourself, that'd be awesome, that'd be great. I want to get as many people tuned in. I think this is a very important, serious issue a lot of people face. It can help out some relationships, get some relationship help, because many people they sit in shame of this. Good evening, how you doing? What's up, little God? How are we? Just doing some sharing real quick while some people get on, and then we are going to get started because I'm not going to hold you guys too long tonight. Selfishly, I have some things to take care of as well. Thank you for liking the video, Tiffany. Appreciate that. Like I said, we're doing some sharing real quick just so that you guys know I have multiple pages. So making sure the pages and the group, my group, the Honey Pot, gets the broadcast as well. If you want to share it to a group or a page, you're more than welcome to share it to a group or a page as well. So we're going to be simulcasting as usual, both on YouTube and Facebook. If you have any questions, make sure you say hello, everybody. And now I can see everybody's comments and that. Great rising. How you doing, Brandon? This is my boy. Violet, good to see you. TL, de facto, some of them I missed because I was sharing. Eleanor, how you guys doing tonight? Like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys too long, but definitely if you have any questions throughout any of this process, and yes, I'm still at my shop, so there's all kind of crazy stuff around me, but it's all right. You know, don't look too hard because we're going to be okay. But I think tonight's issue is a very sensitive issue to a lot of people. And if you like tonight's content, and as some of the people on my YouTube know, you can always hit the super chat button. And if you also like the content, you can join up on my Patreon account, which is patreon.com/Coach Renz for all detail, for more detailed information and other information that I put out there. So if you like it, just let me know. And I want to see some, send me some hearts, some thumbs up, and that sort of thing when you see things that you like. I'm curious on the Facebook page, making sure that it looked like it was moving a little bit. Now it's looking like it's squared away. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to thank you guys for joining me at the Zen of Renz. Tonight we're gonna be talking about Nixie, I already got a question. We're gonna be talking about tonight how to overcome psychological ED, erectile dysfunction. ED stands for erectile dysfunction. This is basically when a man has issues with maintaining or achieving an erection. There are many different symptoms that a person can be going through. We're going to talk about some of the physical, but we're also going to talk about some of but mainly we're going to talk about the mental. Nikki, she asked me, is the Kabbalion the same thing as Kabbalah? No, it's not. It's similar, but we're not talking about the Kabbalion tonight. I'm doing a whole series on that one on my Patreon, and there are other videos I'll be doing about the Kabbalion. Tonight we're talking about how to mentally overcome ED. But here's the thing. Oh, you was wrong about the topic. It's all right. Because the thing about it is the Hermetic idea of that everything is mental, the universe is mental, does play a part. Because if you can't get things squared away in your mind, if you can't get your mind right, then things like ED are manifested in your life. And that's why we're going to talk about this tonight. As you guys know, I like to talk about a bunch of different things. I'm not like one road kind of person. I talk about a bunch of stuff. So that's this conversation for tonight. So let's kind of stick there. And as I said, I'm Coach Renz. I work with people in their life, their relationship, and work with people in their health and mental health and achieving success in multiple facets of their life. And I want to tell you guys a little bit of my story of why this particular subject is kind of important to me. You see, like a lot of men, I never had any problems with that issue with erections at all throughout my entire life. It was like I was that guy that would have what I even termed it. I termed it as UEs, which I call those in my language is unauthorized erections. I would just have them throughout the day. Doesn't matter. I could be leaning against a counter. Somebody could walk through the corner of my eye. I see something on TV. It didn't matter. You just have them all throughout the day. 10, 12 of them throughout the day, every day. So I never thought that this is something that could ever affect me. Like even when I got hurt and I got, I had to leave the Marine Corps, and when I got up to 300 and something odd pounds, I still didn't have this problem. When I got divorced from a 17-year marriage, I did not have this problem. So I never thought that this is something that could ever affect me, right? Until I got married in 2010. I knew standing at the altar, and I'm apologizing again right now for doing this. I knew standing at the altar that I did not want to get married to that particular person. Not that they were a bad person. I just knew we weren't a good fit. But I did it anyway, and I felt bad about it. I knew that I got married to somebody that I knew I should not have, and I felt bad because I was taking this person down a road that I knew eventually was going to hurt them. So I felt guilt and I felt shame. And when the relationship did end, I felt guilt and I felt shame about that relationship ending and how it ended, how it began, the entire thing. Not that I stepped out, nothing like that. It just, I knew I got married when I should not have. Also during that time frame, my company had suffered a huge hit. How you doing, Cornelia? My company suffered a huge hit, and so I walked away from this marriage. My company wasn't doing too well, and I had made some bad business decisions. How you doing, Dr. Johnson? I had made some bad business decisions, so I was still feeling really guilty about the business decisions that I had made and how that was affecting my family. And then I started not being able to make child support payments or full child support payments. So now as a father, I'm starting to feel guilty and ashamed again. So I'm feeling guilty and ashamed as a father. I'm feeling bad because of a relationship that didn't go well, and my business is not going well. And then I started dating people who really didn't fit my personality, and I knew I was dating them into a relationship that wasn't going to last and it was going to end. And so I'm carrying around all this guilt and all this shame, and then it started manifesting itself in my sex life. All of a sudden, when the opportunity to be intimate with somebody came up, I was having issues every now and then. First, it started out every now and then. And every now and then it would happen. So out of 10, maybe 1 out of 10 it would happen. Then 2 out of 10. And then I started recognizing that depending upon what level, how the intimacy was going, it could happen, it could not happen. It could be fine in one instance, but then it goes away right in the middle, right in the process. It would go away. And it's like you would lose the erection. And I was just like, what is going on? And so this starts playing in my mind that I'm losing my manhood, because regardless of what anybody says, throughout all of history, men, their manhood has been attached to their ability to maintain and have erections and satisfy women and all this kind of stuff. When a man loses that, his ego takes a huge crush. His confidence gets kicked down to the curb. So I was feeling that way, and I was starting to feel less than a man. Here I am, not being able to take care of my kids like I want to. Business is not going the way I wanted it to go, and mistakes are happening, and relationships are poor, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm just losing it. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling less confident, and I couldn't figure it out. And no matter what, and I'm gonna tell you this, and ladies, understand this. men aren't, when a man is going through something like this, he falls into quicksand. How you doing, Ricardo? Falls in this quicksand format where he sees you're in a relationship, you're about to be intimate, but then all of a sudden in your mind you start building this anxiety. You start getting afraid. You're either at, y'all are in the situation where you're about to become intimate, and sometimes you'll do something to stop it, or you'll start thinking like, oh man, is it gonna work tonight? Is it not gonna work? I'm not sure. And you start building all this anxiety in your mind, and all that anxiety that you build in your mind just shuts everything down, and all of a sudden your body just does not participate. And you're sitting up there, and because it's not participating and you're in the situation, all it does is make the body, it gets worse. And then the next time, it's even worse. And you find yourself quickly drowning in this pool of depression and doubt and no confidence. And the next thing you know, it just, now instead of 1 out of 10, now it's happening 9 out of 10. Now you're finding yourself in situations where you start to avoid any kind of intimate relationship because you know and you believe that this is just what's happening. Now, if you're like me, you don't want to get involved with taking a bunch of pills and things like that. And you start trying to do a bunch of stopgap things to make it work. You exercise a little bit and you try to eat a little better, but you're still not having success. So I started doing a bunch of research about 1.5 years ago. And I started researching. I researched a bunch of foods. I researched the body aspect of it. But it was the mental part that actually made the difference. It was coming into the mindset, realizing that it was all something in my head, that I had allowed my confidence to go away, that because I had made some mistakes, all those things went away. Now, if anybody understands chakras and whatnot, because I will talk about that a little bit, those things became blocked. The things that block those, shame and guilt and fear, became my mode of operating when it came to relationships and intimacy, and all that did was continue to shut me down. So I started researching. Now, I know some people will be embarrassed to tell their story like that, to say that they had to deal with something like that. But here's the thing. One of the problems, one of the reasons men will suffer with this is because men have been shamed by it. We shame ourselves. Society shames us because that's not what a real man is like. And then miscommunication or not understanding how to communicate with people shames us as well. And then, hey, let's be real. Dudes talking to dudes is always like they're the best in the world. So you can't walk into the room full of guys and say, well, this is my struggle. This is my problem. It takes a very special male friend to be able to say, hey, I'm having this problem. And the thing about it, I remember years and years ago when I was a trainer, I had men who finally trusted me as their trainer who said, I'm having this problem. And I didn't think about it mentally back then, but we went through all the physical things. So first, let's take a minute just to narrow down what are some of the things that creates it. As I said in my story, I endured a lot of stress. I had to move my company to a location that it wasn't a good location. I was losing money. Everything had stalemated. I had this mentality of the type of business person I was, but here I am locked in this 3.5-year contract in a location that's horrible, and it's just not growing. It's just not growing. No matter what I do, it will not grow. So I was incredibly stressed. My marriage had ended, incredibly stressed. I wasn't able to take care of my kids the way I normally have been doing for the entirety of their lives. Stress. And, kids don't mean any harm, but, my kids say, when they would say things like, we don't go to these kind of restaurants anymore, or we don't go and do these things anymore, that just, you tell them and you explain it, and the kids have fun, they're fine, but in the back of your mind as a man, you're thinking, what kind of father am I? What kind of father am I? I can't even take care of my kids the way they used to. My kids are going without certain things, and not that going without food and clothing, but just certain extras that you used to provide, and it's in there. And so all of that just builds up more stress, and that stress will shut your body down. Another big cause of it is your health. Right now, I've recently lost like 25 pounds, But I had ballooned up to 260 pounds. I was eating fast foods. I was eating a lot of high fat foods, and my body just wasn't functioning as well. And I wasn't exercising as much as I had normally been. I mean, I would go to the gym and I would play around. I wouldn't exercise for real. It was this play exercise. So I would go and I would exercise, but it wasn't real exercise. And so my body wasn't getting the exercise that it needed, so it wasn't flowing correctly. The blood wasn't flowing through my body as well as it should. And then I found out that I went to a chiropractor, and I found out that my hip had got misaligned, and there was 1 inch difference. And if you know anything about the body, along your spine, that's where electrical, it fires off electricity, the impulses, so that your body will respond, the way it should. So my hips were offline, my flexibility was gone. It's like, if you don't take care, your health can have a huge effect on it. And that's generally where most men stick. They stick with the health part, right? And they stick with that health part. Thanks, appreciate that, Nori, on the lose weight loss. But they'll stick with that health part and not even realize that if they don't continue, if you don't, and they'll think that, okay, I can just fix it just straight through my health. I ain't got to worry about nothing else. I'll just exercise it away, get in shape, and everything should be fine. But it's really your mentality. And this is where that anxiety comes into play. Because that anxiety will cause you to keep thinking about it over and over again. I started spending half my day thinking about the problem and thinking about I'm never going to have a successful relationship again because I'm not going to be able to perform in that area. And what woman is going to want to deal with a 40-something-year-old man? I'm 46 now, but this is like a couple years ago. A 40-something-year-old man who is having this issue. It's not like I'm 70 or 80. It's excusable if I'm 70 or 80 years old, maybe 90. You'll excuse it, but who's going to excuse a 41, 42, 43-year-old man? Not many people are going to give you an excuse, give you a pass. So I was thinking I'm not going to have a relationship, and that was causing me even more anxiety. So it was just, thank you for it was just more anxiety on top of anxiety. And the thing about it, it's never one thing. When you put all of that together, if your life is experiencing stress, if you're eating unhealthy and your body is not, if your health centers are all out of proportion, your energy is all out of whack, and then you are stressed, you're building up anxiety because you're thinking about it and you're focusing on this issue all the time, all of that puts you in quicksand. It's going to put you in quicksand, and your body's not going to function. Your body just won't function at all. Now, I'm not expecting anybody to admit that they're going through this right now, and that's fine, because I understand people have a tendency to keep themselves hidden. But I'm going to tell you this. Thank you, Corbin. Love and peace to you too. I'm going to tell you guys this. The more you keep things hidden and bottled up inside, the less likely you are to ever get past this issue. Not that you have to tell the world. I'm not telling you to tell the world, but you got to have somebody that you trust that you can talk to. And we're going to get to that in just a few minutes as we talk about the cures, how we cure this issue, right? And like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys long because I know I don't expect a lot of people to talk to me about this one tonight. I don't expect a lot of conversation. But the first one, we're going to start with some basic things. We're going to start with some basic things to that'll start to help you. Some of the basic first things you can do is change the way you eat. Change the way you eat. We know that most sicknesses, most illness in your body that's going on in your body has something to do with your food. Now, like I said, I recently lost like 25 pounds. I did that in 2 months. That was all because I went 90-something% vegetarian. Not 100. I'll never go 100% vegetarian. That's not going to happen. I am never going vegan because I got to have some butter and stuff and other things. But I went about 94-95% vegetarian, meaning like out of 21 meals, maybe one will have some meat in it. But about 90% vegetarian. And then I make sure that I'm eating full whole vegetables and fruits and a lot of fruits. Okay? So that I dropped like 25 pounds in like 2 months. Right? and that's with hardly any exercise. I mean, I really didn't exercise, haven't been exercising at all. I just recently started exercising a lot more, but I wasn't even exercising. So first, yeah, I'm gonna say never. I'm never going vegan, dude. Every now and then I gotta have something, but that was making. I recognize that will make a difference in your life, and the reason why I did that now, I could have started that way when I first started this journey a year and a half ago to correct this issue within my mind and within my body. I could have started with the food, but because I knew it was mental, I started with the mental. But it's okay to start with just food first, or it's okay to do it all at the same time. I probably would have been better off if I did it all at the same time. But okay, so first I started with food, and I just went 90% vegetarian. Well, I didn't start with food, but right now I'm starting with food. 90% vegetarian. Another thing, like I said, when I was a personal trainer, I had clients who were suffering from this. I also had clients who, it was an accident. It was an accident. It was completely an accident. I used to make these antioxidant protein shakes. And some of my clients who didn't have any issues started telling me that they started noticing a difference in their erections when they drank these shakes on a consistent basis. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the somewhat recipe of it because I don't remember it exactly. So don't email me or inbox me and ask me for the recipe. You gotta listen to it right here. Just rewind it however many times you have to. But the shake was a 4 ounces of acai juice, a cup of I'm about to say cranberry juice, not cranberry juice, a cup of the pomegranate juice, and a cup of grape juice, and then you add blackberries and cranberries, banana, protein powder, and that was it. So basically it's all dark fruits. It's dark juices and dark fruits with the acai and the pomegranate juice and dark grape juice, not the light grape juice. And you blend all that up. And we were, and with your ice, and we was drinking this. And my clients who had problems with, ED, they noticed the change after about 30 days, right? So that drink, and my clients who, I didn't even notice it. I didn't even think about it. It was one of my clients, and I remember his name, but I'm not going to tell you guys. He came to me and he was like, I'm starting to notice something. And he told me what was going on. So we did an experiment. I had everybody stop drinking it for like 45 days, and everybody went back to normal, went back to how they were, and then everybody started drinking it again for 45 days, and everybody noticed, better erection. So that let me know that if you eliminate some of them free radicals and your and you allow it'll increase your blood circulation, and since blood circulation is very important in that region for a man, it works, right? It works. So. But changing your diet, eating more antioxidants, dark fruits and eating a lot more vegetables, cutting out dairy because dairy builds up a lot of mucus in your system. Cutting those things helps your body to function better. And and let me preface this all by saying that I am not a medical doctor, okay? So, not a medical doctor or psychologist at all. But also, going to see a chiropractor. I had chiropractic clients, and they taught me stretches and different stretches to do to get my hips back in line, right? Yes, blood flow is our friend. So I learned how to stretch in a certain way that will help first I figured out you have to know which hip is out of alignment, and then do certain stretches to get your hips in alignment. And then that way your spinal column will fire off at the right organs, and your endochromatic system will fire correctly, and that will help your body to produce and be in the right format. Okay. Hey, Kevin, I ain't stalked that dude in a long time, but so getting your hips in alignment helps. This is why a lot of athletes, they do this for their sport, for balance and everything, but it really does help your body to fire correctly. And my hips were an inch off center. And anybody who's a chiropractor or been to a chiropractor will know that is like that is so jacked up. That is so messed up to be an inch. Usually it's like a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch, but my hips were a total inch off center. So I had to get that. I had to fix that and work on that. Now, chiropractor can do it faster, but then I worked on the on the stretches. The other thing is flexibility, stretching every day. If you can do yoga, that's awesome. But stretching every day, allowing your body, the blood to flow through your body will help. It will help you tremendously. But we're gonna get to the mental part in just a minute. So food and exercise. Now, this is where I want to start spending most of this, the rest of this conversation, right? For the next like 15, 20 minutes. And definitely I'm going to need some people's communication to help me on this one. Because communication is key. Communication is vital. First and foremost, the communication that you have to yourself is the most important part, right? Your self-talk, your self-evaluation. If you see my videos on chakras, you know that I taught that what blocks your foundation chakra is fear. So the things you are most afraid of. Now, and in this situation, men are afraid of not performing. So we're walking into the situation with fear in our brain because we are afraid of not performing. So you gotta eliminate. So fear is the first thing that blocks you. The second thing that is blocking you is guilt. Whatever you are feeling guilty about, it could be other guilts in life. Now, generally, here's the thing about guilt. When it comes to ED, it doesn't have to be the guilt of your non-performance, but guilt that deals with you being your manhood, your confidence. The guilt, like I told you guys, I was feeling guilty about about a marriage, and that guilt was affecting my manhood when the marriage ended. I was feeling guilt about not being able to provide for my kids and have as much funding, to do for my kids. So I was feeling guilt about that. And all of that guilt was weighing on my mind. There were times where I was in the act of intimacy or getting ready for intimacy, and all I could think about was the fact that my finances weren't where I wanted them to be. And my kids, this weekend we're not gonna do or all the things that I know they're accustomed to doing. So that's all I was thinking about during the act. And then the other one that blocks you in your power chakra, your solar plexus, is shame. And of course, as a man, I'm feeling shame because my business was suffering, so I'm not paying the full child supports, and I'm feeling ashamed of that. Like even every time I would see the kid's mom when I would pick them up, I could barely look her in her eye because I was feeling so embarrassed and ashamed of it. And when I had my kids, I'm just looking at them like, oh man, I'm not. Where's my fatherhood? My manhood I'm feeling ashamed. So by carrying that shame, guilt, and fear, it diminishes your ability to actually receive the intimacy. And here's the thing that you have to understand. This is why I say, and I totally skipped this part. Sorry. The way that you know that it is psychological and not physical is, and if you got soft ears, get over it. If you can masturbate and achieve an erection, it's psychological. But you can't do it when you're with a woman, it's psychological. If you could watch a porn and you get excited, and it's psychological. If there are certain acts or certain positions where it works, where you gain an erection, but there are others that you can't, that you lose it, it's psychological. And I'm going to break some of those down as well as we go through this. But so the communication, so I had to reevaluate my communication to myself. I had to realize that there was nothing for me to be fearful of. That I had to let go of my fear. You see, as soon as you start to let go of fear and realize that I had to realize there was nothing for me to be afraid of. That when I go into the situation, if I have a problem, if I have an issue, then it's just the problem and an issue for that moment. And that's all it is. And I'm going to tell you how I got to that point in just a second. And then I had to realize, then the guilt, I had to let go of all the guilt. I had to say that, you know what? I made mistakes. People are not getting what I want them to get. Life is not the way I want it to be. But I'm not going to beat myself over the head with it. And I had to let the guilt go. I had to realize that when I'm with my kids, they love me. We have fun. We're going to have as much fun as we possibly can. They're not thinking about that stuff. We're just having fun. And as far as the shame, I can't decide how another person feels about me, right? Porn should have his own. Adele said porn should have his own chakra. But I did a video about how porn ruined a 17-year marriage. So yeah, but and I had to let go. I had to let go of the shame. I had to say that I am more than just a child support payment. I am more than just a business. I am more than just money and finances. That doesn't make me. I've made mistakes, but my mistakes don't make me as to who I am. It's kind of like we say that, you know, your money don't make you who you are, that your character really is. So I had to let go of that shame. Now, here's the thing about getting over that fear. The fear is the first and hardest part to get over. And this is where the person that you're with comes into play. The person you're with is vital to this. If you are a man and you are suffering through this, right? If you're dealing with this, the first thing you need to be able to do in order for you to be able to get past your fear, guilt, and shame is that the person you're with, you have to be able to go to them, feel trusted and confident enough in the relationship that you can go to them and express and explain your situation, explain why it is there, what you are feeling, and without them shaming you or making you feel bad about it. If you don't have that kind of person, then you're going to consistently and continuously feel that way. So you have to be able to go to them and say, look, I've suffered through business loss, relationship loss, whatever it is that is creating the anxiety and the fear within you. And I notice that this is something that's going on. I'm going to need your help. And ladies, I need you to hear this part. I need you to hear this part. Because when a man communicates and when you communicate back, sometimes what you mean is not what we hear. It's not judging you. It's not saying that it's your fault. No blame is to be placed here, but let me give you a little bit of conversation of how things can be misunderstood. Okay? So let's say you're in the act of intimacy and he's having an issue. You know, he's having a moment. It's not, you know, it's not there. If the woman says, what's wrong? Right? If she says this, to ask him, well, what's wrong? Or are you okay? You know, in his mind, you just told him, even though you didn't mean to tell him, this is not what you mean, but what you just told him. In most men's mind who are suffering from this is, where's your manhood? What's your problem? What's going on? You know, am I not good? Or his signal is that he may think that you're thinking that he's not attracted to you. So now in his mind, he's trying to force it. He's trying to force himself. He's like, come on, work, you know? But that's what he's thinking. You may just be asking the legitimate, are you okay? Or you say, it's okay, don't worry about it. Just lie here. And no, his ego is crushed right now. If you just lie here, it's like pity party. He doesn't know. That's all you're saying. I pity you. I'm giving you pity. And I'm going to lay here and you may be laying on my shoulder, but in his mind, you're thinking about the last dude who didn't have this problem or some other dude in the future who's not going to have this problem. And you're trying to think of your way out. So his mind is just like wrapped up. The best thing to do is say nothing. Don't say a word, right? Not a word. Let me tell you, I was having this conversation because I prep these videos with certain friends of mine. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. And when we was having a conversation, she expressed, she's like, I told her, like, we was talking about the whole thing, and she said something to the effect where I said that, you know, how the woman communicates to us is not how we hear it, what I just said to you guys. And she started her statement saying, well, it's not fair. And then she went on to explain, now, because I understand and know what she was saying, I understood what she meant. But, ladies, if you start out any conversation, and this is for men too, but in this particular one, we just looking at it from the person who's suffering side. If you start out any conversation with, well, it's not fair, the person is automatically going to take a defensive stance and think that you are passing blame. You may not be passing blame, but that's what the mindset is going to be. You are passing blame. And since that's the mindset that you're passing blame, it will just be a defensive, and he will always have in his mind that you are not supportive of him achieving and getting past this issue. And every time you guys are intimate, he's going to be thinking about that. Passing blame. Am I going to get blamed for not being able to perform? Am I going to get blamed for not satisfying her? And that's what his mind is on. And that puts him back in quicksand. That puts him back into that mental state where he's saying that his manhood is not there, that he's not qualified to be with you because his manhood is not able to maintain the erection, and you're going to leave him, and then not only are you going to leave him, you're going to dog him out and talk about him, right? So the language that you use is incredibly important in order for him to be able to get past it. Now, one way to get past this without using any form of verbal communication, because it's either going to be taken as pity or it's going to be taken as a defensive posture or something you're getting rid of it. And I know you ladies, you're thinking like, well, what can I say? The best thing to say is absolutely nothing. The best thing is with an action. And men understand this too. Take your time in intimacy. Don't rush. Don't come in the door thinking you're supposed to take everything off and go wild animalistic. Spend the time to build up the intimacy. Send the emails and the texts and whatever else. Have the phone conversation and speaking sexy towards each other about, and not get gratuitous. Just like, you know, I can't wait to see you and kiss you. I can't wait to hold you and hug you. I've been smelling your scent all day. No matter what's around me, I can sense you and I smell you. And I love that musk, that scent, that whatever it is. Having those conversations all day. When you're with each other, set up the room, set up the night. Spend time actually doing foreplay. Spend as much time doing foreplay as possible. Because if you're doing the foreplay and you're enjoying it, you can't sit there and he's kissing all over you and y'all doing things and you're just sitting there silent, right? Because ladies, we are visual and we are audible, auditory. If we don't hear you some pleasure sounds, we don't think we're doing anything of value, and because of that, it doesn't build up. So if we hear that you're enjoying it, if we hear, thank you very much, I dropped the mic. If we hear that you're enjoying it, it excites us. It excites our brain. You see, this is not if this is not a physical ED problem, this is a mental ED problem. Our brain is excited, and if our brain becomes excited because we know we're pleasuring you, and because we're pleasuring you, you are now making those sounds. Yes, it's egotistical for us, but if it's a good dude, he's doing it because he wants to please you. His brain is now excited, so now his body will respond. His body will start to respond, and the more and more you practice that, right? If it doesn't excite us, we get silent, right? And here's the thing: if he's kissing you in certain ways and he's doing all these things, and you're not excited, teach him. You gotta tell him. Don't sit up there and keep and tell him where to go. Make it, tell him where to kiss you. Tell him how to kiss you. Tell him how much pressure. This is too rough. This is too light. Teach him, show him. And guys, you got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to learn. If you're not willing to learn, then you're never going to get past this problem, because you need to learn how to satisfy her. And if you can do that, and then and you can do it, then she will be more amenable to you working with you as well. All right. So. What do you say? Need more foreplay? Yeah. Men need to be willing to learn. Exactly. So we have to learn. You have to listen and pay attention to all that stuff you saw in porn movies is for the movie. All your things you see in Hollywood movies, most of it is for the movie. The stuff that we learn on the street corner is crap that's on the street corner. Learn your woman. Learn what she likes. Who cares about what you think she might like? Learn what she actually likes. As you learn what she actually likes, and you're able to make her happy in other ways, get pleasure towards her in other ways, your mind gets turned on as a man. And since your mind starts to get turned on, your body will respond. Now, I was going to tell you some other exercises that a man can do, like male Kegels, which is squeezing and releasing that area in between the anus and your sack, right? Squeezing and holding that for like 5-10 seconds and then releasing. Doing that all day, yeah, it builds up strength. But if your mind is not working, if your mind's not into it, whenever you do have one, it may be potent, but you got to get your mind in there. Your mind has to be right, right? So your mind got to get right. And that's like the major thing. That's the major thing. Being with somebody who you can talk to. Being with somebody that you can trust, that they're not going to use their information to hurt you or harm you. But dudes, you got to talk. You got to talk to your woman. You got to let her know. You got to let her know what the situation is, right? And definitely set up those intimate, romantic situations. Take your time. Enjoy the foreplay. And be patient. The last thing, you got to be patient. This is not something that I was able to turn around in my mind in like 30 days. This is something that it took me a year to turn this around into my mind, where 90% of the time it's not an issue. But you have to turn it around in your mind, because see, sometimes it still can be an issue. Sometimes you can fall back, like certain, you know how like you had an experience, and every time you smell something, it reminds you of that experience. There are certain smells, certain places, certain things that remind me of all the negativity, and sometimes my brain can fall into that for a moment. And as soon as it does, I have to go and I have to meditate. I have to meditate to get my brain back. Sometimes I see certain people, and by seeing that person, they represent, or they were a part of everything that went, when certain things went haywire, and certain feelings of guilt or shame that I may hold. I see them, and those emotions try to surface back, or certain conversations try to bring those emotions back. So it's not something that is something you constantly will battle until you completely overcome it. But you have to be patient to realize that it may take you a year. It may take you 2 years. But you'll see progression as you go. You'll see progression as you go. You just have to be patient for it and allow it to work. And definitely, if your woman loves you, if she's truly in love with you, she'll be patient. If she's not your woman. She's not a woman you should be with anyway. Because if she makes you feel bad about it, if she makes you feel condemned less than a man about it, that's not a good woman for you. You got to go find one that will understand you, that will work with you, that will be by your side, that will see that you're putting in work and you're trying to make changes. And then let that woman be your woman, because that's somebody that, what they like to say, to ride or die. That's the one. That's the one. So be patient and have the right partner. But definitely, if you guys have any other questions, if you, I'm gonna give you guys like a minute to ask any questions, or I'm gonna stop. But there's a lot of research. As you guys know, I did my videos on Tantra, so you can go and watch the Tantric videos, watch the Cornelius said we may need prayer service after this one. Like I said, I can't be one dimensional. I gotta give you guys the fullness of me, the fullness of me. And I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. Doing these videos over a year and a half ago is one of the things that helped me to get past some of my own mental blocks that I was going through. Right, doing these videos, because I was trapped. I found myself trapped in there, right, and it didn't make sense, because it was something that other dudes had problems with. It wasn't something that I had problems with. That's other people. And then I had let what people build up. They say, well, once a man turns this age and once he turns that age, the body doesn't work the same way it works before. Before, in my past, if you had said something like that to me, I'd have told you, where to go, where to kick rocks, and like, you crazy. But I let those sayings and what other people were saying influence me. If you saw my video on the law of mentalism today, I'm not gonna repeat what Adele said, what Eden said. If you let other people's mental thoughts can corrupt your own if you allow it. So don't allow other people's mental thoughts to corrupt your own. Oh, sorry, people had comments on Facebook and I didn't even see it because I forgot I gotta manually do this one. But Nori, I don't know how long ago, said, how about extended foreplay? And that's the thing. Extended foreplay is incredibly important. I mean, yeah, sometimes you don't have time for it, but while a man is going through this issue, going through this challenge, then you want to extend the foreplay as long as possible. You want foreplay, and whatever that is and however it is, and y'all should talk about it first. He should know what kind of foreplay you like, and you should know what kind he likes. You should know what turns him on physically and what turns him on mentally, right? And exactly, Eden, foreplay is a lifestyle. You should be looking at different ways to keep opening up the different doors of foreplay between you guys. Um, from men to men, Coach, I love Rihanna more than Rihanna loves herself. Okay. But Ali is funny, some of his comments. But definitely you want to maintain, you want to do as many things. I mean, you know, and you don't have to be basic and boring like everybody else. You know, and it doesn't always have to be in the bedroom. You know, you're on a busy street and just start dancing with your woman in the middle of the street and there's no music playing. I mean, to me that's sexy as hell. You know, just start dancing in the middle of the street or the middle of the sidewalk. Not the middle of the street, I don't want you to get hurt, but the middle of the sidewalk and there's no music and you're the music. You know, to just be walking down the street or just be doing something, or just to stop her in the middle of everything she's doing and just turn her around and give a big old huge kiss, and or just hug her tight, or just come up from behind, and you know, just all these little different things you do throughout the day adds to the foreplay. It's a continuous all day lifestyle kind of thing. Just keep doing that, you know, doing those kinds of things. Have picnics in the living room, picnics in the bedroom, you know, take baths, bathe her, learn how to massage her feet, give her a back massage, whatever it is. Learn all these different things that you can increase how much you're touching different aspects of her body, right? That gives her sensations, and then if she's enjoying it, your mind will start to click. Your mind will start to, you know, electrical impulses in your brain will get excited, and that'll excite your body. So there are so many different things that you can do to make it work. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on here. I hope that I know a lot of guys didn't say much of nothing, and that's fine. If you didn't say anything, guys, if you're watching this, you know, learn this stuff, dig deep into it, but more importantly, dig deep into yourself. Dig deep into yourself to find out what is causing you this fear, what is causing this guilt and this shame and the anxiety, and then work with your partner to be able to overcome it, to be able to communicate, and then just work through it and have patience. Have patience, okay? So y'all have a great night. Enjoy yourself. And like I always say, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. And if you like this content, I'll be more than happy to accept you as one of my patrons on Patreon. That is patreon.com/Coach Renz. If you would like to join my Patreon, where there is all kinds of information that I'll be loading there, from the hermetics, spiritual, financial, health, everything's going to be on there. So love you guys, but I gotta go and do some business tonight. So y'all have a great night. Enjoy yourself. Respect to everyone.